a genuine world-class operator. Now, there is no doubting that a man with world titles and great fights on his resume. He's been in some great fights. He's been in with some great fighters. There's been a fair share of controversy. He's had to go and fight on the road, which is crazy because this guy has been sensational to watch. It's Steve Cunningham from Philadelphia, and I'm delighted to say that he joins me on the line now from his home in Philadelphia. Steve, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Steve. Steve, let me ask you this. That's all change in your life. You're going to become a free agent and possibly move up to heavyweight. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm excited about this next move. I mean, heavyweight. It seems, we're kind of being elbowed out of the cruiserweight division because, none of the other champs want to give me a fight. I tried to get fights with Tarver. I've tried to solidify a second fight with Marco Huck. And all of these are great TV fights, for Europe, for America, for the world. But these guys, Tarver's got more excuses and reasons why he shouldn't fight me than why he should fight me. And Huck, they just don't. We've already known that for years now that his team doesn't want any parts of us. So, I could try and work my way back up to fight Hernandez again for a third time, which I would love to do.
Of course.
I mean, it's like, but it's time, timing, and I was going to go heavyweight anyway after, if I would have won those Hernandez fights. So I still want to, stick to our plan, though.
And Steve, if you did go up to heavyweight, I know you're about 6'3", so you're not short, you're not a Marco Huck style cruiserweight. How heavy would you be? Would you be one of those guys that just gains a few pounds, or would you try and think about it and go on a 6-month regime and come back as a big heavyweight?
Well, I mean, that's what I've been doing since the Hernandez fight. I've been trying to put on weight. A lot of guys don't know that I was a small cruiserweight, actually. I'd go to the scales drinking water. I would leave the gym at 193 sometimes, being 6'3". So I've been trying to pack on weight and do it right, lift weights and use the right exercises probably since like March, April. Mm-hmm. And, I'm up to about 205 right now, okay. 206. And, I feel comfortable at this weight. We see Eddie Chambers put on a very, very great, awesome display of speed and boxing ability at 202. And I know he wasn't even 202. He weighed in with his clothes on.
Wow.
So, and Adamic was 225. So, really packing on the weight isn't the key. It's just keeping my speed and just gaining a little more pop. I do want to crack some of these guys.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about gaining weight isn't just the key, because we've seen too many cruiserweights be flabby, and we've seen too many small heavyweights carrying that extra weight. You're absolutely right. I think you've got to listen to your body, Steve, don't you? I really do. Yes,
indeed. And I'm a workaholic, so I think me and carrying weight, it wouldn't work out. I don't think I'd ever get up to 220 unless I sat down completely, unless I retired and didn't work out. But my heavyweight dream weight is 212, 215. That's it.
And at that 212, 215, are you big enough? I know you're skillful enough, and I know you're brave enough, and I know you're semi-tall enough. Are you big enough at that weight to mix with guys like the Klitschko's, or are they super heavies really that are just too big for you, or would you feel you could move with them?
We've seen it in history with Spinks,
Yeah,
fighting,
good point.
You know what I mean, taking a belt from Holmes, and he wasn't even a real big heavyweight.
Not at
all. So, so I think I could contest with those guys. Like you said, smart and speed and boxing ability, that will carry the weight more so than just weight. Even though hats off to the Klitschko's, those dudes are dominant for a reason.
They are.
I fought with Vladimir for the David Haye fight.
Yep.
And once I got in there with him, I knew that either David Haye was playing around when he said these dudes are robotic, or he really thought they were robotic. And in that case, I knew he was going to get beat. They're not robotic. They're very athletic.
Listen, Manny Stewart's been saying that about Vladimir for a long, for like 10 years. Why is it then? Yeah. I mean, I'll ask you, because you've obviously been in the ring now with Vladimir sparring, as you say, for the Hay fight last year. Why is it then that good judges, sensible trainers and sensible fighters, why is it that they watch them and they believe they're robotic, and why is it people watch them and believe they're slow, Steve? Why is it? Why do people make that mistake? Fight after fight after fight.
Well, it's mainly because they haven't gotten in there with them.
Okay.
They're from the outside looking in. Like a lot of fans, like a lot of commentators, like a lot of people.
Sure.
Even me.
Yeah, of course.
I'll admit, before I went to camp with Vladimir, I was buying into their robotic role too.
Wow.
And then when I first sparred with them, and I'm a mover, and I was 198 pounds, 197 pounds, and this guy's 230, and he was right there with me every round. It was great. It was good work for me, good work for him. And but I said to myself after that first day getting out the ring, I said, David Hayes is going to get his butt kicked if he thinks these guys are robots. They're not.
And he did, and you sort of saw it on David's face from I was up close that night, sheltering from the rain, and you sort of saw it on David's face. He couldn't believe what was coming back. It wasn't necessarily the power. I think he knew they punched hard, but I don't think he could believe how clever they were, how fast they were, and more than that, how mobile they were.
Yeah, and another thing is, they may seem robotic because they don't have to use all their athleticism all the time. They can use their other abilities and make it look easy.
Yeah,
so
good point.
That's why people are most likely saying that.
They can just step over places and step back and step forward, so it does look a bit. They can make it look robotic because it's easier rather than being mobile. That's a really good point, Steve. When might we see you out then? When might we see you out? The way things are going at the moment, when might we see you involved?
Well, we're trying to get in as soon as possible. Late August, early September. We're talking with promoters right now, and we're assessing the situation. We're looking at everything, and we want to make the best choice for us. My wife, who's my manager, has been doing a great job. My trainer, Nazim Richardson, and Buddy Osborne, we've been working, off and on throughout this time off just to get this weight. But my main mission has been to put this weight on and still be athletic, still be in shape, and not just pack weight on, fat.
Yeah, of course. And that's sensible. Listen, Steve, it's an absolute delight and a pleasure, and thank your wife for setting this interview up, and hopefully we will speak to you sometime in September as you move closer to the next part of your career. Steve Cunningham, it's been a delight having you on the show.
Thank you for having me. You guys can hit me up on Twitter at USS Cunningham. Thank you.
So that's on Twitter. It's at USS Cunningham. You know what he really is? If you want to see some terrific fights, look at these last two Hernandez fights. Absolutely fantastic, brutal wars. And you know what? He's a nice guy, and he's been in some hard fights, and he's had to go on the road, and he's been in fights that, had they been an American, had the Americans just opened their eyes a little bit and taken their eyes off of Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao and just looked at what else is out there in the world of boxing, trying to acknowledged and admired guys like Chad Dawson. Okay, sure, he's a bit low key, but he's a terrific fighter. And the same with Andre Ward. If people just took their eyes and looked at guys like that and saw how good they were, then, they're good, they're skillful, they're overlooked. But then on the subject of toe-to-toe, heart and fury, Steve Cunningham makes Carl Froch look like a pacifist. He's staggering, Steve Cunningham. He's in brilliant fights. And you know what? He'll be a good small heavyweight. Let's get him back in the ring with Marco Huck, one of the greats, one of the funniest men. Just to let